What's up guys, it's Will back at you with another video. Today we're going to be doing a walk around video of the rig, better known as TN Taco on Instagram. So in this video we're going to go over everything that's on the exterior of the truck, and then in part 2 we're going to do everything that's on the interior. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So to start off, the base truck is a 2019 Toyota Tacoma TRD off-road. I went with the off-road because I wanted the rear locker, and then some of the other options that come in the off-road I just like. So I went ahead and went with the off-road, and that was that. So starting at the front of the build, and then we'll work our way to the back. At the front, I got a TRD Pro Grill. I like the look of the TRD Pro Grill. It's blacked out, and I got the gray letters in the front. I'm not really a fan of the SR and the regular off-road grill, so went ahead and upgraded to the Pro. I didn't go with the Raptor lights, so you can't make fun of me for that. Next up, I got the form lighting headlights up front. They were super nice and sent these over for me to get some content of, and I love these headlights. They're super bright, the DRLs are good, the high beams are good too. Overall, I really like the headlights, and they're definitely an upgrade over stock, and they're one of the better on the market, and they're definitely competitive with their price. So definitely a big thumbs up for the form lighting headlights for me. So moving on from there, we'll kind of look at the suspension in the front and the wheels and tires I got on the truck. So starting off with the suspension, I've got the Fox 2.5 extended travel shocks with Resis. These shocks give me about 2.5 inches up front. I went with the Resi. I didn't go with the DSC up front because I thought that was a little bit overkill for my build. I'm not doing anything too crazy. But yeah, I went with that. And then up front, I also have the Blackhawk upper control arms. I got those from a local shop, Mill Creek Overland in Middle Tennessee. Definitely go check them out. I got them from them. They import them from Australia, so I like those a lot. They're super durable. They get the tubular design, and they use the stock ball joint, so if you have to replace that, you can easily get that at any automotive shop. So that's definitely a plus for those. They give me enough caster that I can adjust the 35s when I need to get them realigned. Moving on to wheels and tires. For the wheels, I have the Summit Striker 17-inch -25 offset in bronze. I like the look of the bronze a lot. I think it contrasts with the black and white theme of the truck pretty good. I think it's a good pop color. These wheels are super good. I like them a lot. They look good. So, I mean, that's all that matters. They give the truck a good stance. For the tires, I decided to go with Yokohama Geolandar MTs in a 35 by 12.5 by 17. I decided to go with the Yokohamas, honestly, because I like the look of them and I heard some good things about them. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger on those. I've really only owned Nittos, ridge grapplers and trail grapplers in the past, but these Yokohamas definitely compete, and on road and off road, they're definitely super nice. On the road, I haven't really had any issues with hydroplaning or skidding around the road. It could be because of the weight of the truck with everything on it, but I haven't had any issues. Off-road, they perform great. They've done everything that I've needed them to do. Also in the front, as far as cutting, to fit 35s, you got to do a pretty decent amount of things. I get questions about it all the time. So what you need to do is you definitely need a cab mount chop or a cab mount relocation. I have a cab mount chop. You got to have your pinch wells hammered. I got those hammered. Depending on if you're going 35 by 12.5, your offset and everything like that, you'll probably have to trim the fenders in the front. I did trim mine up 2 inches, as you can see, and I had to take out the inner fender liner and hack away a pretty decent amount of stuff in the front. Also in the front, I had to do a Viper cut early. I just went ahead and did that early, cleared up a lot of space in the front, and I think it aesthetically, it looks good on the truck, so it makes it look a little bit more aggressive. So I went ahead and did that, and that was pretty much all I did for the front. Definitely take some time with an angle grinder to get that cut good for the fenders, and then you just sand it down and make sure it's smooth. And same thing with the Viper cut. Moving on to the back, I've got Fox 2.0 piggyback extended travel shocks with the reservoir, and I went ahead and went with the DSC in the back as well, just because I have these Icon RTX leaf springs in the back as well, and I got those on the heaviest setting, so I felt like it was a little bit more important to be able to adjust the comfort of the shocks in the rear, because they can be pretty stiff if you don't have any weight in the back, especially if you don't have a tent or a rack at the back, which I sometimes run. And for the Icon RTX Leafs, I like them a lot. I've had them for almost 2 years. They don't really squeak. They squeak sometimes if you get them dirty and you don't wash them. But once you wash them, that squeak goes away. They're super durable. I've got a tent and a rack on now with no squat. It's literally not affecting them at all. So I could probably add another 300 or 400 pounds before they, you know, start to show any sign of weight. But overall, I like them a lot. They don't overextend the brake lines either, so they're definitely a good option for anybody out there looking for some leaf springs. Also on the bed, I got these bed stripes from GP Walsh Designs. They sent me these early on in the build. It was one of the first things I ever got, and I like these things a lot. I think they add a lot of character to the build. Originally, I was going with just a black and white theme, so I thought that the black and fading into gray was a good option for that. I like it a lot, and I think it kind of makes the truck stand out a little bit more from other trucks out there. Moving further back, we've got the CBI Overland bed rack. I've had this bed rack for about 2 years. I found it on Marketplace for a super good deal, so I went ahead and got it. I like it a lot. I like that you're able to still get in the bed and crawl in the bed if you need to reach something far back or something like that. You're not gonna hit your head or your back on the rack. I had a KB Voodoo rack before this, and it was a little bit lower. It was probably, I think it was like 10 inches high or something like that. But I'd hit my back. I couldn't reach in the bed. It was a pain in the butt. So definitely having a rack that's higher is better in my opinion. So you're able to get in the back and you're not sacrificing anything just for a rack. On top of that, I got the ARB Simpson 3 rooftop tent. So I like this tent a lot. I've had it for 3 or 4 years. I got it on Facebook Marketplace again for a good deal. I think it was like 900 bucks. So I definitely went ahead and grabbed it. It's kept me warm in the winter and pretty cool in the summer. I mean, it's a canvas tent, so you're not going to be, you know, freezing in the tent in summer, but with a blanket and a fan or something like that, if it's really hot outside, you'll be fine with a blanket on. I know a lot of people complain about these box tents, how, you know, annoying it is to set it up and put it back when you're at camp, and I do agree with that definitely, but you know, you get to sleep above the ground, so I feel like that's a plus. And you know, if you're not in the market to buy a camper or a hard shell or clamshell, something like that, I think this is definitely a good option. I mean, it gets you off the ground, it's comfortable. You don't need you don't need a sleeping bag. You just need a blanket and some pillows, and that's it. I mean, you stay really warm in this thing in the winter. All right, and moving even further back, we've got the Form Lighting tail lights. They sent me these over too to get some pictures and a review for, and I like these things a lot. I mean, they make a sweet startup sequence when you turn the headlights on. They are super bright, you know, they look good. They're a blackout design. I like them a lot. I think they add a lot of character to the build, and they kind of go with that black and white theme that I got going on. And moving on to the tailgate, I've got the Snailarmor tailgate panel. Honestly, I regret not getting this as like my first mod, because this thing is a game changer. When you're camping or you're even just taking the tailgate down, you have to put your knee on it to get up or something like that. It's a lifesaver. It's way more comfortable to sit on. You can set your drink on there easy. You don't have to worry about it spilling over. If you're cooking on the tailgate, you don't have to worry about your stove tipping over or something like that. So this thing is definitely a game changer. I would recommend it to anybody. And Jimmy at Snailarmor is top notch. So I would definitely recommend anybody picking up this Snailarmor as one of their first mods. Honestly, it's definitely a game changer. Moving on to the roof rack, I've got the Prinsu Designs roof rack for double cab. I've had this thing for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. I had it on my second gen, so I've had it for a while. It's starting to show some signs of wear in the powder coat and stuff like that, but it does its job. On top of it, I got a solar panel that charges my battery for my fridge when it's in the sunlight. Also, I have a awning. I have an ARB awning. It matches the tent, so I think it works out good. I haven't had any issues with the awning. As long as you get the little guidelines out, then it's not gonna blow away from you at all. I had it at the beach and it was super windy, and it didn't blow away from me once when I had those guidelines out. On the awning, I got the Prinsu awning mounts. Those things are sturdy. They hold it in place. That thing doesn't move at all. I've had it on there for like 2 years, all year round, and it hasn't moved at all. And it's pretty easy to get on the rack, so it's not really a hassle at all, which is good. Moving on to some of the lights I have, I got the Diode Dynamics SS3 ditch lights in the front. I got them in the combo pattern because I wanted a spot and I also wanted a flood. So they work good. They're in amber. They're good for dusty roads or, you know, low light conditions where you don't want to blind yourself. I definitely like these things. They work great, and they're a proud partner of the build. So I definitely recommend Diode Dynamics and Form Lighting. Those two companies have definitely worked with me the best. Their customer support is top notch, and they get it shipped out to you in like 1 day, which is crazy. I got the headlights and tail lights, and they sent them to me, and I got them like the next day, which I don't even understand how that's possible, but they did it. Their customer support is great, so definitely recommend those guys. So with that, I think that's pretty much everything on the build, honestly. This thing is constantly changing, so I'm sure it'll change, and I'll do an update video if I need to be. I don't really have any crazy plans for the future other than I'll probably relocate the intake. I think with that, we've pretty much covered everything on the truck. Be looking out for part 2. I'm going to do the interior, and then I'm going to do some of the accessories such as the fridge and stuff like that. So we'll talk about that in part 2. If you like this video, feel free to leave it a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about the build, feel free to leave a comment and I will definitely get with you. So if you enjoyed this video, thank you, and I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.